Hi everyone. So this video is chaotic. You will see a lot of time lapses, like me jumping from one stage of my life to another because it's been filmed throughout the year. I have not read much towards the end of the year until I finally decided to wrap up this video. If you are new here, this is my low priority TBR. Welcome. It is episode 2 where I let people vote on the books from each genre that I should read. They are low priority books, which means books that I want to read, but I will not prioritize them anytime soon. So this is my way of tackling them and prioritizing them. I let my Instagram followers vote on the books that I want to read, and I will be taking you through your picks. I don't think there's anything left to say. Welcome, enjoy. Before we get started with the categories and the winners, I would just like to say that I unfortunately lost the screenshots of all the votes and the results, so please bear with me. For the romance category, I had people voting between How to Honeymoon Alone and The Trouble with Quarterbacks. The winner was How to Honeymoon Alone. In the apocalyptic genre category, people were voting between Year 1 by Nora Roberts or Broken by Imogen Keeper. And the book that I'll be reading is Broken. In the nonfiction category, we have Nothing to Fear by Julie McFadden or What Do You Want Out of Life by Valerie Tiberius. And the winner is Nothing to Fear by Julie McFadden. In the fantasy category, we have Can't Spell Treason Without T, The Book of Doors, or Dark Water Daughter. The book that won is Can't Spell Treason Without T. For science fiction, people were voting between Ascension, The Other Valley, or The Deep Sky. The book that won is Ascension. For historical, this is historical fiction or romance, a little bit mixed. We have To Have and To Hoax, The Duke and I, The Uncharted Flight of Olivia West. The winner was The Duke and I. For horror, I have only one book left on the list, and that is Sisters of the Lost Nation. And for thriller, I also have only one book left, and I'll be reading Survive the Night by Riley Sager. And the last book I have left in romantasy genre is Radiance. Now, I'm going off of a very flawed list that I made in my reading journal. Basically, I did not have an equal amount of books for each genre. Like, for example, romantasy should have a lot more books, to be honest, or romance as well. Horror only has 2 books to choose from, and Imaginary Friend was last episode, and now we have Sisters of the Lost Nation. So once I run out of the books for each genre, I just won't be reading. I'll just be trying to get through the books that are left, which means that the rest of the episodes are going to be a bit shorter because I won't have all the genres to read from, but just the books that I am left with. So mostly historical and fantasy will be the ones that I will probably be left with the most. For now, let's get into the video of the books that I am reading, and I will tell you how I feel. Hello everybody, it's July. I have not been doing any booktube work since I think May. In May I only read one book and then I entered a reading slump, and now it's 29th of July and I actually started reading How to Honeymoon Alone. I got 37% into it and then I just could not read. Honestly, I think this book was the reason why I got into a reading slump. I'm also experiencing some burnout from romantasy or fantasy, or just in general. Life has been hectic because I've been working so much that I don't have any time for myself. So I decided to just DNF How to Honeymoon Alone. I was not feeling it. It was fine at the beginning, but then I was not feeling it. So with that being said, I am currently, since I'm going through a reading slump, I am feeling more non-fiction right now. I just finished Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. The first book I finished in 3 months, since May. Jesus, it's July. So I figured if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm just gonna continue with nonfiction. We have Nothing to Fear by Julie McFadden. I know it's basically about destigmatizing death, it affecting how we live our lives more authentically and more fully. So I'm excited to actually dive into this because I really need a nonfiction read. So this will be the second book that I'm reading for this video. For my nonfiction pick, I am starting with Nothing to Fear by Julie McFadden. Why I wanted to pick up Nothing to Fear and why it was even on my Goodreads TBR is because ever since my grandpa passed away, I have more insight into it, and I've always wanted to know more just in general, because as I'm reading this book, it does remind me of the things that we went through, how unprepared we were when he passed. I've wanted to know more about death, and because since then I've dealt with death a lot. And so this book just kind of dives in and says death is not something that we should not talk about and that we should fear. It is something that is so ingrained in us because our bodies know how to die. We are better off knowing and talking about end of life care and how we want to live the rest of our life than avoiding the topic altogether and then being scared and then being so unprepared for it. I am enjoying this book in the sense that I wish I had read this book when 2020 happened. I just finished Nothing to Fear by Julie McFadden. She is also a TikTok nurse and she shares all these resources and everything. I thought it was really just beautifully written, and the entire time I was reading it, I was thinking of my grandpa. I really enjoyed this book. I will see what I pick up next. Of course, it's just my luck that I always start filming when I look my absolute worst, but I spent my day traveling. I came from Krakow and I was like, okay, what books do I need to read now? And I have 3 books left for my September TBR. We are in September now. Yes, I know it sounds crazy looking back at how scattered this TBR is. Now, the next book that I'm gonna be reading is horror. Lately, I've not been in a horror mood, so this could be a DNF also, or not. The whole point, again, with these books is to give them a chance and see if I like them or not. Oftentimes, I've been surprised by many of them when I would think that I wouldn't enjoy them. Sisters of the Lost Nation, I have no idea what it's about. When I put it on my TBR, was I think 2 years ago. It was because I was interested in it when I read about it. However, I did not go back to reread what it's about. So I'm going in blind, which could be a good thing or it could be a really bad thing. So this is the book that I'm reading now in September. And I will check in when I have more thoughts to give you. I'm 10% into this book. I'm listening to the audiobook while I sort out the puzzles and sort out the edge pieces apart from the middle pieces. 10% into it, I can already tell it's not going to be for me. And that's okay. Not every book is going to be for you, so I'm just going to pass on it. Horror is a very hit or miss for me just because I'm not a big horror book fan. And if the ending is very slow and not gripping, then of course I'm not going to be inclined to read. And I also am in a bit of a reading slump, so I don't want to particularly push myself to read something that could potentially like put me in a reading slump. So I'm moving on. I'm going to start with another controversial one, which is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Controversial because it is a thriller book, and again it is gonna be, I'm 95% sure that I'm gonna DNF it because again I'm not a big thriller girly, but the whole point of this list is to try different genres. So Survive the Night is the one that I'm gonna try, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe it will surprise me. I don't even know how to begin. So I started reading Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I read 33%, and as a woman I find it incredibly triggering, and I'm smiling because I'm uncomfortable. Will not finish it for the sake of my mental health, because I have to prioritize my mental health at the end of the day, and I don't see how me triggering myself will help in any way. So if you don't know, this is a book about a woman whose best friend and roommate got killed in college and murdered, and then she decides, because she's so traumatized, that she needs a clean break, so she's just gonna leave the college, and she gets in the car with this guy who basically tells her that he's working there at this college and that he's going home and all of that, and then slowly his lies start to unravel, and it turns out that she is in the car with the serial killer of her friend. And it is so psychologically like scary to me to be put in that position. Like, it is one of my worst fears, so I simply cannot. Oh my god, I'm sweating because of that. Just thinking about that makes my heart rush. So I will not do that. I will not finish this book. But I like the way it's written. I like, if you're looking for horror or thriller, that, yeah, it's more psychological. I think you will like that. I understand the hype. It's just my mental health cannot take it right now. Hi everybody, how you doing? I always come on camera looking my absolute craziest. I hate myself without any makeup, but I really don't have time to film these videos. Life has been crazy lately. It's already December and I'm falling behind on so many videos. Like, I haven't been reading at all in the past 3-4 months. We found out that the base where I am is gonna close and we all have to move countries. So life has been just insanity, and now we are severely understaffed, so we're all working crazy hours. Apart from that, yeah, just been going through some health issues, and life in general has been insane. There's no time for me to film these videos, and so I'm just taking it now because I really need to finish reading all these books by the end of the year. I'm really hoping to start fresh starting next year, because I have so many plans, but I still have my list here. I have left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, which I'm hoping to be able to finish. To reiterate what you've already been told 1,000 times, I don't have to finish these books. I just have to give them a try. So I guess I mean, I think for most of these, I have the audiobook. So I'm gonna start with the shortest one, which is Radiance. I'm gonna start with Romantasy. And in the, like, I'm gonna do that in audio. 11% into Radiance, and I can already tell this is not gonna be for me. It is a bit predictable and insta-lovey. I think this is one of my main critiques, that it is too insta-lovey. So I would rather just not read it, because I just know that I'm not gonna like it. It is about these two people from two different, like, one is human and one is not, who are forced to marry. It was an arranged marriage to bring their kingdom together, and instantly they become friends. They are, I don't know, it's not for me. So I am going to pass it, and I will continue with either not The Duke and I think I'm going to continue with Ascension, which is sci-fi. I just woke up and I did finish Ascension. My thoughts on this book are very muddled. It's the kind of sci-fi that I actually love. It deals with time and space, a bit of paranormal as well. I really love this type of sci-fi. I don't really know how to explain it. If you've read this book, maybe you know. And it does have bits of horror in it as well, and mystery, which normally horror and mystery, they're a hit or miss for me. But in this book, I really enjoyed how we were slowly given the answers. However, that being said, I would not give it more than 3 stars. Started like learning more about hiking, mountaineering, everything. So having this be set on a mountain that just appeared out of nowhere, and this expedition team was given a mission to basically figure out what it is, what's going on, because the previous expedition team died or they went insane, and so the new expedition team was sent to figure out what it is, what happened. And in the end, there were so many anomalies with time and space, apparitions, people going insane. Yeah, the ending, I would say it is quite predictable, but then there's something happened towards the very, very end that I did not expect. So yeah, 3 stars in total. I am glad that I read it. So 2 books down, 3 more books to go. I still have some time before I need to get ready for work. I made myself lunch, which is basically chicken and some potato and stuff, and some cheese, and just something that I've been craving lately. And I've started listening to the audiobook of Bridgerton. Actually, it technically is a second book, but because it follows Daphne and Hastings, it technically could count as the first book because of the first season. So I picked it up, and honestly, I think so far I have no complaints. I think I will like it. I like the writing style, I like the narration, I like the voices of the characters. It is written very entertaining despite it being kind of like a historical fiction. I am enjoying it so far. I think I will finish this one as well. I don't think it's going to be a pass, because I understand that in this video I've had quite a few passes or DNFs. So it will be nice to finally have my luck turn around and enjoy the books that I'm reading. I literally have to leave in 10 minutes. I am doing a flight to Bergamo and back, bringing home my friend. I wasn't supposed to fly today, but they gave me the flight yesterday because another crew did overnight. So I am actually, the friend that I'm picking up is the one that was supposed to be doing the flight today. So I'm doing her flight. I did read 50% of Bridgerton. I am actually enjoying it so much. It is, the way it is written, it is witty, it is funny, it's entertaining, fast-paced. The way it's written, I really, really enjoy it. It is so easy to follow. We're introduced to Daphne's family and her brothers and Hastings' storyline, backstory, and an introduction to how he is. And we have kind of dual point of views. And I really enjoy the way it follows both characters, giving us an insight into both of the characters. Overall, I don't really want to spoil the story, but I'm sure you are familiar with Bridgerton. I'm really not too good with explaining what the stories are about in my videos, but essentially, there's this family, the Bridgertons, who have 8 children. The mother is Violet, she has 8 children, and every book one of them has to marry. And in this book it is Daphne, and she finds her match in her brother's close friend, but it cannot be because his close friend also swore that he will never get married. So the two of them kind of like make a deal. Daphne, clearly she's been out in society for 2 years and she hasn't had any matches, any amiable good matches. The Duke of Hastings, he wants to get rid of all the mothers and everybody trying to marry him off to their daughters. They make a plan. They will court each other without actually any commitment. They will just for pretenses, so that she will seem more desirable to other suitors, and he will have somebody to occupy himself with, like the time with, so that other mothers will be kind of, you know, told to step aside. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but if you know, you know. And that's it. Like, I'm excited to continue and finish. I am flying tomorrow to Banja Luka, so I don't know if I'll have the time to finish it. By the end of the day, probably not. Maybe tomorrow I will finish it. Hey guys, I'm here to finish this video and basically finish out all the books, because I did go through the whole list. Finally, I managed. I did finish The Duke and I ended up rating it 4 stars. It was quite decent if we skip the part where Daphne basically essayed her husband. So this was supposed to be like a very easy read, fun read, and for the most part it was, but that scene is so problematic that I just kind of don't want to think about it. But I did rate it 4 stars because overall the rest of it was very, it was fun. It was very fun, I would say. The characters had depth, they had banter. The overall writing style was not tedious to read. It genuinely read like a contemporary romance, but historical setting, of course. It didn't read as like this serious historical book, which I absolutely loved. It had chemistry. So I rated it 4 stars. Then I went on to read Broken, which is an apocalyptic book. It is the first book in After the Plague series. The writing style here I could not really follow, not because it was written bad, it's just because my attention span is not really the best, was not the best at the time that I picked it up, and also I did not particularly feel like I was connected to the characters. I read up until 47% and I decided to call it quits. I did not feel invested in any of the characters. What I did love though was the way this book really immersed you into the plague whole situation, and did dive into like the descriptions and made you feel like you were back in COVID times, but it was more dire than that. However, I feel like it wasn't as serious. Like, I don't know, I feel like it was the whole atmosphere, it could have been more atmospheric. I'm just gonna move on because I did DNF that one. Then I picked up Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and then I realized, you know what, I don't really feel like this sounds like a cozy fantasy, and also I read what it was about, and it didn't really pull me like it did a year ago or 2 years ago, and I'm happy that I didn't buy it at Yelp, because I was gonna buy it because I was really into pirate books, but recently I'm not into pirate books, and I don't know why. Oh yeah, because the second book is called A Pirate's Cipher Tea. I just decided I'm not gonna pick this up. Well, I did pick it up, I started reading it, wasn't for me, and I think I DNF'd it at 4%. So with that being said, I finally concluded the whole video. So episode 2 after months is finally done, and I'm so proud of myself. To give you a recap of this video, I've had 6 passes. 6 passes. How to Honeymoon Alone, Radiance, Broken, Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and Survive the Night. Now, I did finish Ascension, which was a 3-star read, Nothing to Fear, which because it's non-fiction, I don't rate it, and I finished The Duke and I, which was my highest rating, 4 stars. I'm proud of myself. Again, like I said multiple times, I don't need to read all of these books. I just need to pick them up and try them. And try I did. The next books I am going to let people choose on my Instagram, because I feel like this is going to be super fun because they can vote. Then I will have the next episode out, because I have already a predetermined list of all the books that I want to read for low priority TBR. For some of these, I've already given a chance in the first 2 episodes. So, for example, in the next episode, I will not have a thriller because I've already given a chance to these. I will not have horror. I will not have romantasy. And then for some of these, I only have 1 book as an option, so people will not have the chance to vote. For example, for romance, apocalyptic, and nonfiction, I already know what books I'm gonna read. So this will be fun. It will definitely lower the amount of books I will have to read for the video, and hopefully the next episode will be out sooner than this one. Because again, this one took me months to film because I didn't fully commit to it, but I just committed throughout the months. This will be fun. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope that you tune in for the next episode. See ya! Bye!